And right now we have a very important guest on the line that we've been so excited about. Whew. Welcome, Charlie Ward. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Oh, goodness. We appreciate you giving us your time. I know you're a very busy person.
We are not worthy.
No, we are not.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm grateful.
Awesome, man. We're glad to have you here on ESPN Panama City because you are the keynote speaker for the Coaches for Curing Cancer fundraiser this Saturday night. So I wanted to ask you real quick, what made you want to accept that spot?
Well, I mean, if I was going to follow anyone, I like to follow in Coach Bowden's footsteps. So if it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for me. So I'm grateful that I get an opportunity to come and share my experiences and hopefully, be able to raise some funds for North Bay Haven, the football program, as well as, their mission of, helping families or kids with cancer, paying their bills and those types of things. So, I'm grateful to have an opportunity to come over and share.
Well, I know that Coach Siegel appreciates that, and actually, our entire community. And I mean, you're someone that there's so many people that look up to you, just for what you did at FSU, even at the next level, but also as a person and just your character and your faith. And our county has been through so much after this hurricane, so we all are appreciative that you are coming over, and I know it's going to be a great event. My question for you, I mean, you've accomplished so much, but what person inspired you the most growing up? Like, how did you get interested in sports?
Interested? Well, of course, my dad was a sports guy. He went to FAMU, graduated from FAMU, played football there. And so I got a lot of genes from him, athletic genes. And but I'm an athlete. Actually, I have a book out called The Athlete, just chronicling my life story. And so I've always been that. And, from the time I was 2, that's all I really wanted to do. And so, that's how I got involved in it, just because I enjoyed playing anything that had a ball on it. At the end of it, eye coordination, those types of things came easy to me. So I was, I just picked up a lot of things easily. And then I studied it and all those types of things. But the biggest influence was my dad. Of course, he was a coach, high school coach and teacher. And so I was around sports a lot. He coached football, basketball, and then later golf. And so, I grew up in a sports-oriented household. And so that was something that, fell right into what I like to do. And I was grateful that, I had that inspiration from my father and mother to be able to pursue my goals as an athlete. Of course, I had to be an academician first, but I was able to navigate that way, navigate through that, be able to do the thing that I really wanted to do, which was be an athlete.
It's hard enough for people that do play sports to keep up with academics, but to keep up and be a good student and play multiple sports in college, I mean, it's really phenomenal. And it doesn't happen very often, I mean, it's very low statistically. And you played both football and basketball. How hard was it to decide which sport? I mean, I know you played both, but going from there, what helped you make your decision as to which sport you were going to choose on the professional level?
Well, I was grateful to be able to have a lot of people to help me achieve my goal of being able to graduate, as well as playing 2 sports, major sports. Something that, of course, there's always a team behind when there's, someone that's successful. And so I'm grateful for all those that helped me achieve that goal. And, when it came down for me to choose a sport, really, I left my options open. I did some things for the NFL, and I did, football. NFL draft came first, so I did a few things to, show that I was interested in playing, but I wasn't 100% bought in. Just because, they put me in the third and fourth round was my projection, and so I wasn't, not say comfortable, but if I had options, I was going to leave those options open, and I did. So I pursued the sport that I was behind in. That was basketball. So a lot of my time was spent, getting ready for the NBA combine, NBA workouts, right after basketball, and my senior year at Florida State in basketball. And I mixed in a few, a little bit of football just so I can have, be ready for the pro day on campus. And when it was all said and done, the NFL didn't feel like I was 100% committed, which I wasn't. But, a team was willing to draft me in the fifth round if I would have agreed to come to camp. But I told them that I wasn't going to be able to agree to doing that, because if I got drafted in the first round in the NBA, then I would be going to the NBA. And so when it was all said and done, the NFL didn't draft me, and the NBA gave me an opportunity.
All right, awesome. Hey, 104.3 ESPN Panama City. We are joined at this time by Heisman Trophy and national championship winning quarterback Charlie Ward at Florida State. And he, of course, was a first-round pick by the New York Knicks in the NBA. So amazing athlete, one of the most decorated athletes in college football history. So, Coach Ward, what are you up to these days?
I'm currently the head boys basketball coach at Florida High down here in Tallahassee. And I also do, of course, public speaking on the side, which is something I started doing. I've been doing for a while. But now that I'm coaching high school basketball, I'm doing a little bit more speaking. So those are the things I'm doing. And also being a father and a husband, working that in the mix as well. So just like everyone, we're all busy. If you have a job, you're busy, trying to make ends meet, and I'm no different.
Right, absolutely. Well, hey, so we don't want to keep you all day, but one of the things that I want to ask you, I'm a diehard Florida State fan, so of course I'm only 27 years old, so I didn't really get to watch you play, and I kicked my dad for that. I'm like, he couldn't go a couple years earlier, man, But I'm kind of in a state of worry right now, to be 100% honest with you, Coach Ward. And I know that you're heavily involved with the Florida State football program today. So can you kind of give me your thoughts on what's going on in Tallahassee, and should I be worried?
I wouldn't say worried. I think we're all anxious about, what's going to happen as far as the next game and progression of the team, because of course we're not getting the results, or at least last year was admiration. It was just what it was. I mean, first year trying to change the culture, mindset, leadership, all those types of things, and then this year, what people are missing, there is progress, which means they were up, 18 points in the first game. They were up 21 points in the second game, and then they were up in the fourth quarter against Virginia. So all three games could have gone either way. They could easily be 3-0, and they could easily be 0-3. But they're 1-2 at this point. And, in the midst of, when you're struggling to find ways to win games, each and every game takes, it's kind of like basketball in the playoffs. No matter what the game before looked like, the next game is a different game. And so each and every week is different. in the sense that you have to prepare for that opponent, and you have to go out and compete. But Coach Taggart and the staff, they're doing everything possible to get things turned in the right direction. All the things that people are saying, whether it's via social media or thinking, they're coaches and they're making adjustments to try to find a way to get the kids to do the things that they need to do to be excellent and play well. So, it's not like they're sitting on their hands, not concerned. But when it's all said and done, last week was kind of what we expected the team to be, which is competitive and giving yourself an opportunity to play and win games against, great competition. First couple weeks, just they are what they are. Games probably should have never came down to the end, but they did. But I do believe, and I'm a guy who's always looking at the positives, I do believe that it will help them long term in learning how to find ways to win games and what it's going to take, whether it's watching the film and moving forward to next week. And so I think they'll get it figured out. That's the goal that they're working, but they're doing all the right things when it comes to trying to get the guys to play at a different level.
You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Panama City, and we have former FSU great, Heisman Trophy winner, among many other things, Charlie Ward on the phone. And Coach Ward, I did get to see you play. I'm a little bit older than you, actually, but I did get to see you play. And I'm also the daughter of a basketball coach. I grew up in a gymnasium, so I share your love, and I know what it's like to coach high school sports, and I was around my mom for years, and she's 70-something and just retired for the third time a couple of years ago. So she's had a hard time. Once you're a coach, you're always a coach. But we want your opinion about this. Right now there's so many changes, it seems like, going on in college sports, especially with this whole pay-to-play issue, and they're trying to get that passed. But the transfer portal is something that people have strong opinions about one way or another. How do you feel about it, and do you think it's good for college football?
Well, it's not just football. It's all sports, but mainly the revenue sports, because minor sports normally they don't get any coverage when it comes to the transfer. I'm reminded of a young lady who's one of the top pitchers on the Oklahoma squad, transferred from whatever school she was currently playing, and she was in the College World Series this past April or whenever they were playing. So student athletes are transferring for mainly most times it's playing time. They can dress it up and say whatever they want to say, but when it's all said and done, it's playing time and playing time right now. And so, in this day and age, a lot of kids are impatient, and that's just the times we live in. And, for me, it was different. We didn't have the transfer. You could transfer, but you had to sit out. There's no waiver process and any of those types of things. So if you wanted to transfer during my time, you had to sit out. That was just point blank. But I waited 3 years before I got an opportunity to play quarterback. I was a punter my freshman year. Then the next 2 years I played basketball. And once I got my opportunity to play, there was, another guy who we came in the same time. And he ended up moving on. He's from that area, Niceville, Kenneth Felder. He ended up going and playing professional baseball. And so, we all had different methods of ways that we handle certain situations. But in this day and age, now they have an option with the transfer portal. And, there's always a staggering statistic out there that, how many of those kids end up going and getting scholarships. We hear about the ones who transfer and they get a chance to play because they're looking at, their situation or their position at the school that they're looking to transfer. but there's quite a few people in the transfer portal who really, sometimes don't even get an opportunity to play at another Division I school, or they go to another school, Division II, FCS or a smaller school, to get an opportunity to play. And so, it's always a risk whenever you think about it. But for me, I'm always going to be one that, if it's meant for you to play, then you'll get your opportunity to play. When you make a decision without, it's kind of like, getting married. It's going to be hard times there, but you got to work through it and not give yourself an option for, leaving. And so that's, there are always different circumstances, situations, and different people. But for me, I just think, I'm just going to be patient and wait and see what's going to happen. And if it's meant for me to get an opportunity to play a lot, then God will open that door.
Sometimes I bet my wife wishes she can enter the transfer portal.
I'm sure.
I like that analogy, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hey, so Coach Ward, we got one more question for you, then we want to let you go, because this is one of my favorite stories that I've heard you tell. Just tell everybody real quick about your recruitment experience with Bobby Bowden.
Coach B actually had to be persuaded to recruit me by Coach Wayne McDuffie, which he's no longer with us. But I'm grateful for Coach McDuffie because he saw something in me that, I had University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Auburn, schools that were interested in me. But for whatever reason, you always need someone to advocate for you. And he saw enough in me that he wanted me to be a Seminole. And so I'm grateful that he stood on top of tables to get my name, across in the recruiting meetings. And when I got an opportunity to meet Coach Bowden, I was excited because I watched him, his show every Sunday. Being from Thomasville, we got his show every Sunday. So, when he came to visit, watch a football game, it was big time whenever he showed up, and, it was exciting. And then when I got an opportunity to meet him on the recruiting, when he came to the house, it was really exciting. And so, we being recruited by Coach Bowden and, also Vince Dooley. Those are two legends in the game that you get an opportunity to rub shoulders with, and, not too many people got that opportunity. And so I was grateful for it, and, it was a great blessing. I had the opportunity to play for a legend in Coach Bowden. But, of course, his integrity and his faith was something that I admired because I grew up in a Christian household, and he also had Brad Johnson, who played basketball and football, and so he allowed him to do that. So that was one of the main reasons why I chose Florida State over UGA.
Well, Charlie, thank you so much. We appreciate your time again and hope all goes well at the fundraiser Saturday night, and just wish you and your family the best. And again, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Appreciate y'all having me. And I look forward to seeing everyone there on Saturday.
Sounds good.
We'll see you there.
Have a good evening.